Because Hashem just wants simple emunah. And I believe that's the solution to our generation. He tells a story of a simple man who went to Bet Knesset. And he barely understands the Hebrew like most Jews today. And he barely wants to be there, but he hears the singing. And the singing speaks to him. And he hears the Chazan, says the Ben Ishai, sing out the words, Elu ve'elu nisrafin bevet hadeshen. Which means, this korban and this korban was burnt and placed in the makom, the place of the ashes. And he hears these words like, oh, so beautiful. What a beautiful singing. Doesn't know what the heck the guy's talking about. But he hears, this one is burnt. Elu ve'elu nisrafin. And they're placed in the Bet HaDeshen. And he says, I want to give that bracha to my children. So he goes home. Friday night, he brings his kids to the table, puts his hands on his son's head, and then his daughter said, Elu ve'elu, just like the Chazan he heard, Nisrafin, this one and this one should be burnt, B'Bet HaDeshen, and put with the ashes. Baruch Hashem, Yishtabach Shmolad, and they go and sit down. And the kids are no wiser than their father, says the Ben Ishai, and they eat the meal. Next Friday night, I must do it again. It reminds me, by the way, I do many chuppot. I've done 150 weddings, Baruch Hashem, b'li anara. And I read the ketubah, and I try to put a little bit of oomph into it, right? And really, what is the ketubah? It's basically like a mortgage document, most boring document ever. And some lady comes out, she goes to me, Rabbi, what a lovely reading of the ketubah. I'm like, if you know what it said in it, honey, you would not say it's a beautiful thing, I tell you. Most depressing document ever written by mankind. Right? Elu ve'elu nisrafin. So every Friday night, this simple guy gets his kids up. Elu ve'elu nisrafin. This one should be burnt and put to the ashes. One Friday night, says the Ben Ishai, he brings to his house a big Talmid Chacham. He's sitting there. He sees the boy and girl come over. He sees the guy put his hands on the kids' heads. He's like, oh my God, this guy's insane. He stands up and says, what are you doing? You're cursing your children. He's like, but the Chazan sang it so beautifully. He says, you're telling your children. He says, don't ever do that again. And he sat down. So he didn't. That night, this Talmid Chacham went home. And he had a dream. And in a dream, an angel came to him, he says. And the Ben Ishai writes this down. And said he did a tremendous Aveirah. Hashem was rearranging those letters that simple Jew was making into words of bracha. And you ruined it all. You better go home. And you better return to that man and tell him to keep making that same bracha. Elu ve'elu nisrafin, says the Ben Ishai. That was the greatest bracha that this malach had ever heard. It's a similar story. It's funny, but it's true. There was a Bet Knesset, and this story is brought down by the Sefer Hasidim, that a Kohen would go up to the bima to do Birchat Kohanim onto the Duchan. And this guy, again, was a simple man. Same idea. And he put his hands on the head, out, to spread his hands out, to give the bracha to the people. And as you know, the Kohanim say Birchat Kohanim of Aaron HaKohen, V'yivarecha Hashem v'yishmarecha. Instead of saying v'yishmarecha, this guy would always say v'yishmadecha. The resh looks like a dalet. V'yishmarecha means you should be protected. V'yishmadecha means shmadach. You should be destroyed. And he gets up there every time and he's telling me, v'yishmarecha Hashem v'yishmadecha. And the Chacham of the Bet Knesset is getting really upset. You're trying to destroy my community. Are you crazy? And he goes up to this Kohen and says, it's not Yishmadecha, it's Yishmarecha. No problem, no problem. Okay, Rabbi, okay. Next day, same thing. 2-3 days, the rabbi says, enough. He goes up to him after the bet. He goes privately, he says, you're not allowed to do Birchat Kohanim ever again. Please do not get up. Just walk outside. You bring klala to my community. Same thing. Rabbi goes home. He has a chalom. And in his dream, it says, Gabriel, someone approached him. I don't know who it was. Approached him and says to him, what are you doing? This man's bracha came from his heart. He wanted to give bracha to the people and he was stopping him. You think Hashem can't change a dalet to a resh? You think that's how weak Hashem is? This emunah p'shutav, this man, means more than all the Kohanim in history. That's the dream. Sefer Chassidim brings out a real story. And he went and he apologized to the man. He put him up there again. And every time he went to Berachat Kohanim, Yishmadecha. A great bracha. Emunah p'shutah. This is what we're dealing with, my friends. This is a solution to all our problems. Everyone's too clever for their own good. Keep it simple. Simple ahavat Hashem. But we laughed at our grandparents for who didn't know anything.